This part deals with returning more than one value in a function. Now, in the previous part, we dealt with functions that just returned one value back to the caller. It is possible to return more than one value back to the caller. And in this example, I'm going to show you how to return a tuple from the function back to the caller. If you recall, in the previous lessons, we dealt with tuples, and tuples allow you to encapsulate many variables or many constants into one unit. That's called a tuple. So what does this example do? Well, this example creates a function, and what this function does is it looks at a string, like the string here that says some weird looking string. It looks at the string and it looks at every character in the string. It then counts how many vowels are in the string. Now, as you know from English class, vowels are letters of the alphabet: A, E, I, or U. So it will look through every single character in the string and count the number of vowels in the string. Also, it will count the number of consonants. Consonants are non-vowels like B, C, X, Y, Z. Those are called consonants. It will also count the consonant. And also notice in the string we have some other characters like this one here, underscore. We also have the exclamation mark, and it will count these as others. So it will look at the string and count how many vowels, how many consonants, and how many other characters that are in the string. Good, so let's define our function. The name of our function is called count, and it takes in one parameter, and this parameter is a string. And in this case, the string is going to be some weird looking string here. So it's going to take in the string, look through the string, and find out how many vowels, consonants, and other characters are in the string. And then it's going to output a tuple. And this tuple has three variables. One of the variables is called int, the other variable is called consonants, and the other variable is called others. So it's going to output a single tuple, but this tuple consists of three variables, and all of them are of type integer because we're counting the number of vowels, consonants, and others, which is an integer. So string as input, tuple with three values or three variables as output. So let's get into now the body of the function. The body of the function starts from this curly bracket down to this curly bracket. And I start off by defining a variable called vowels, and I've set it initial value of 0, defining another variable called consonants, initial value of 0, and defining another variable called others with initial value of 0s. And these are going to count up as the number increases. Then I've got a for in statement. It's like a for loop that's going to look at every character in the string. Which string? Any string. The one that I sent it, the input string. It's going to look at that input parameter string. In this function, it's called any string. It's going to look at every single character in that string, and it's going to convert that character that it finds in the string into a character. So it's going to change from string to character, and it's going to convert every single character to lowercase. So there is a method in strings called lowercase where you can convert every single character into lowercase. Now why would you want to do that? It saves you from checking capital A and small letter a. You could just check all small letters or lowercase for the vowels, consonants and others. So if you look at my string here, it's got some weird looking string. You notice that some letters are capital letters or uppercase and some letters are small letters or lowercase. So what that method is going to do, it's going to convert this entire string all into lowercase, making it easier to look for the vowels, consonants and others. So that's what this statement does here. It takes every individual character in the string and converts it to lowercase. Then it's going to check that character, and here we are using the if statement. If that character is either A, E, I or U, it will increase this variable by 1, thus keeping track of how many vowels are in that string. And we have another case. If those characters were either B, C, and all of these characters which are not vowels, it will then increment this variable consonants by 1. So this variable consonants keep track of how many consonants there are in the string. And obviously if the character was not a vowel or consonant, it would be a other symbol like underscore or exclamation mark. And that's the default case here. So if it's not a vowel or it's not a consonant, this counter will count up, others will count up by 1. Once it's got the number of vowels, consonants and others, it then returns this tuple, which consists of these 3 variables, back to the caller statement. Good, so now that the function is developed and coded, now I need to call that function. And this is how I call it. I call it by its name, and the name of the function is called count. And I pass this parameter, which is a string, to the function. Some weird looking string. That string gets passed to the function, and the function does its job and eventually returns the number of vowels, consonants and others, returns this back to the caller, and that value gets placed into this constant here called total, and this is a tuple which consists of vowels, consonants and others. So this is a tuple called total. Now once I've got that tuple returned back to the caller, I can then now print out the number of vowels, consonants and others. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm printing the vowels of the tuple called total with this text, and I'm also printing the consonants of this tuple called total, and I'm printing out the others of this tuple called total out here. And you'll notice it has got 8 vowels, 4 consonants and 4 other characters. Where are the 4 other characters? There's one here, underscore, that's 1, another underscore, that's 2, another underscore, that's 3, and this exclamation mark, which is 4. So this is a good example that illustrates quite a few things. how to return more than one value from a function, and we could use a tuple to do that. Also shows us how to convert a string that's got a mix of lowercase and uppercase characters into, can convert it all into lowercase. Also shows us how to step through each character in a string by using for in. Also demonstrates how to use the switch statement. And yeah, I thought this was a very good example to try and combine functions with switch statements and tuples, and also the for in loops. When we get back, we'll deal more with advanced functions.